Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, going to do a very big update to the story I did yesterday, which was titled, Wife Given the Boot After Demanding an Open Marriage Right Before Christmas. Now guys, as I said yesterday at the end of the video, initially I wasn't going to do an update to that story, but so many of you guys asked me in the comment section, there must have been like 700 plus comments since I looked earlier this morning, that you guys are dying to hear the update. So, ask and you shall receive. And so this is actually going to be 3 updates. The guy, after his story yesterday, he posted 6 updates to this crazy story because it does get crazier and crazier as it goes on. So I'm covering the first 3 updates, and then tomorrow I'll do the final updates 4, 5, and 6. Okay, it's going to be a long video, so I'm going to get right into it. But real quick, as a very, very quick recap to the story, initially this guy, he was married to his wife for 11 years. Had 2 kids. I assume he thought everything was normal and cool. His wife got a new job, and she started hanging out with her coworkers that were a bunch of effinists and social justice warrior types. And her behavior started changing, and it was getting worse and worse. She started acting like a stereotypical effinist and all that. And one way or another, he finds out that she was actually cheating. And a couple weeks before Christmas, she sat him down and she demanded that she would have an open marriage. And she could go out and hook up with whoever she wants to, blah, blah, blah. And unlike other guys in situations like this guy not having it at all. And pretty much kicked her out, and he actually installed some spy software on her phone because he actually was the one paying for her phone, so it was legal, and basically said, that's it, we're getting a divorce. And so it left there with him obviously realizing what's going on. He's really hurt, as you can imagine. The kids don't know what's going on. She's been banished from his parents don't have anything to do with her, and so it's a big mess. And this is now going on to the updates, and you're going to see how this goes. So it continues on. He says, so a lot has happened since I last posted. I wish I could take credit for it, but the truth is, I've been a pathetic, sobbing mess since I last posted. Dude, your whole family's being torn apart because of your crazy wife. Don't feel bad because you're obviously a mess. Okay, that's normal. You want to be human. If you weren't, your wife's not a human. She's a psycho, but you're human, so that's okay. Take it day by day, hour by hour. Stay strong for the kids. He says, I was sort of obsessed about my wife's chats with her friends. A lot of insane and hurtful things was said in these chats. Like I said earlier, he actually installed some spy software on her phone so he could read all her texts. He says, what got me in the end, though, was when my soon-to-be ex-wife described in very harsh language how her marriage, and especially her children, was a burden in her life. That they prevented her from being a successful woman living up to her full potential. Of course, blame it on everybody else but her for not achieving what she wants to achieve in life. Blame her husband for holding her back. Blame her kids for holding her back. That's psycho. If somebody isn't achieving what they want to achieve in life, that's on them, man or woman. Okay? It's on you if you're not where you want to be. Okay? Certain things come into life make it a little harder, may take a little time. Don't blame other people, especially your family and your kids. But this goes to show you how wacko she is. She described how I, as her husband, was an oppressive piece of crap that held her back from living a good life. Her family was the reason she didn't have a successful career, loads of casual you-know-what, etc. Then why'd she get married, right? And this guy obviously was a good husband to her and took care of her, as you're going to find out more. He says, I just broke. I couldn't handle it. I spent the next 30-ish hours reading and rereading every line of emails and chats I had over and over again. I get that this guy was reading everything because he needs to know your enemy, because he's obviously going to be divorcing her, so he wants to get all the info he can to make him come out on top. But there's a point where if he just keeps reading all these emails, it's just going to tear him apart inside. Okay, so there's a point he's got to slow that down or get the most important stuff, and that's it. Although temptation is definitely tough. He says, on reflection, she didn't provide any details of how we actually were burdens or oppressors. It was just blanket statements, no examples or supporting arguments. So she was just freaking out and being a big emotional mess. No actual genuine reasons to support why they were holding her back. She's just being a psycho. In fact, I have never stopped her from doing anything. I pay for almost everything. The minimum wage she collects from her part-time job wouldn't even be enough to support anyone, actually. So to no surprise, this guy pays for everything. Good husband. I've supported her hobbies, dreams, and aspirations, even when she did stupid effing class after stupid effing class that she would always drop out halfway through. I made sure to show her that I love her every day and appreciate everything she did for the family. I would romance her, take her out, be there for her whenever she needed me. This guy sounds like the ideal model husband, okay? Who wouldn't want that, from my perspective as a man? Unfortunately, in today's screwed up world, you put them on a pedestal, they look down at you. Treat them like a queen, they treat you like a peasant, This is why, unfortunately, you can't do the royalty treatment, no matter how much you love her. Okay? It's unfortunately perceived as weakness in this world. Okay? It'd be a great, perfect world where you could treat your lady and truly show her and tell her how much you love her and all that type of stuff, and it would be reciprocated, and you wouldn't be the kindness wouldn't be perceived as weakness. Not anymore. Not in today's world. That's why I tell you guys, don't do this type of stuff. I'm not saying you gotta be this emotionless zombie walking around like a robot, but if you do relationships, but this whole showering of affection and all that's for the movies. You do it today, look what can happen. I'm not saying all women are like this, but the more I do these stories, the more not just stories I read, but stories people send me, more things I observe, things in my personal life, all that. It's just like, why bother? Anyhow, it goes on. I mean, if this is oppression, I would like some oppression, please. Anyway, I digress. At some point reading, I just passed out. When I got up, my 3 best friends were in the kitchen with my dad making dinner. I know these guys since I was a child. Let's call them Mike, Bob, and Frank. And you're going to see these guys are good, loyal friends, which is why I tell you guys, your friends are gold, okay? If you only have a couple really good friends, having a couple really good friends is way better than having, 50, so-so friends. And you're going to see right here. He says, my dad invited them over and brought them up to speed. I soon broke down again, and I was completely out of it until Friday evening. Mike is ex-military. He lost his left arm below the elbow. We were actually all there for him when he was in recovery, and his wife bailed on him. Disgrace. Luckily, they didn't have any children. Mike has adopted 2 kids, and he's got a nice girlfriend a few years ago, so he did okay. He set up a Zoom call with his counselor that helped him when he went through recovery. He helped me to understand a lot of what was happening to me emotionally. Even though he specialized in amputees, he told me his wife sadly bailed when their husbands are injured. Oh, this happens to guys in the military. And his stories and examples helped me a lot, actually. He asked me to see my soul/identity/spiritual self as having a large part. Yeah, thanks for playing the rap music to the car driving by. Anyway, as large, blah, blah, blah. I'm sure you guys can probably hear that noise. So I'll be doing this in the home studio soon enough. I just got a lot on my plate, guys. She says, he asked me to see my soul/identity/spiritual self as having a large part of it tied with my marriage and role as a husband. That part is dead now, and just like an amputee will suffer phantom pain in a missing limb, I will feel a phantom pain from the dead part of my identity. That's totally understandable. 11 years, his wife, the kids, that became who he was. And now all of a sudden, just boom, it's gone because his wife has completely lost her mind. You're going to find out more about that as time goes on, guys. It's totally understandable. We spent hours talking, and I have been steadily improving since. Bob, another friend, is an executive in some sort of security company. He never talks much about his job. I don't actually know what he does, but he is very well off. Everybody has that friend that does well, and you don't exactly know what the hell they do, and they tell you all the time what they do for a living, but you just can't explain it. It's bizarre. We all have that friend. Bob called a law firm that is on retainer for the company, and Sunday morning I was talking to a lawyer that I could never in my wildest dreams afford even to talk to. Bob has always been a huge nerd and was bullied a lot. He told me not to worry about the bill, he would cover it. He was happy to finally be able to repay me for the beatings I frequently took for him interfering with his bullies. Frank is a teacher in a private school for kids and is married with 7 children. Yes, that's right, 7 kids. Well, that's my idea of hell on earth. 7 kids. For those of you that have many kids, if you're happy, good for you. But that would be hell on earth for me. Okay. Shit, having 1 kid. I got 2 cats at home. That's enough responsibility for me. End of story. I clean their litter box. I feed them twice a day. They sit on my lap when I'm watching shows. That's the extent of my responsibility for another living creature in this world. But makes him happy, good. He says, my kids just love him and the rest of his family to death. Frank has been making sure my kids are okay and careful while I get back on my feet and get my ducks in a row. These are good, loyal friends. Yesterday was a very hectic day. It started with an STD screening early in the morning. He says the B gave me chlamydia. Another screen in 6 months. It's bad enough she's doing that behind the scenes. Now she gives this guy something. My self-pity party switched to pure effing anger when I found out. That's it for me. Glows off, full custody. I will give her nothing if I can get away with it. The lawyer managed to track down the ex-husband of my wife's effingest friend that bragged about how she screwed him over. It was apparently very easy via the court documents. I wouldn't even have thought about that. One of his wife's effingest friends bragged about how she basically accused him of all these things, and that helped her make out like a bad divorce process. So he was worried that this was going to happen to him. I talked to him on WhatsApp, and he thanked me a lot, but he also told me about everything that the harpy did to him. Now I know what to expect from my soon-to-be ex-wife. It was sickening. I was ready for a fight. After our chat, I'm preparing for war. It was heartbreaking hearing how he had been homeless and how he hardly has seen his kids in 4 years, all based on his ex-wife's lies. Like I said, guys, be careful. If you're thinking about getting married, unfortunately, this is some of the crap you may potentially deal with one day. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but you've got to be aware of these things. Just listen. Really get to know that girl that you think that you want to marry before you take the plunge. I'm telling you now. My lawyer suggested a preemptive strike via a restraining order due to her negative and aggressive comments about males in general, especially for our son's sake. Growing up in a household with an openly anti-male parental figure is obviously very damaging, so I'm going for full custody. Very good idea. Those kids should be with her to begin with, especially the boy with her attitude. She'll take it out on him and screw him up. I told the lawyer to go ahead. She expects her to be served the restraining order today. I had a call with my soon-to-be ex-wife on Zoom. Keep in mind that she hasn't reached out to me since she showed up at the door to argue with my dad. She showed up to, if you don't remember, she showed up to his dad's house Christmas Day demanding to be a part of the family, and the dad basically told her, get the hell out of there, I'm going to call the cops. She hasn't reached out to the kids or anyone else either, so it's not like she cares about any of us. The call was absolutely bizarre. She was all made up with massive cleavage. It was obvious she was trying to look her absolute best. I haven't seen her that dolled up for years. Well, she's definitely getting dolled up for the guy she's hooking up with. Throughout the entire conversation, she tried to bait me into a fight to get me angry. I managed to keep cool. My lawyer had told me what to ask for. Apparently, it was very positive if attempts are made for an amicable divorce prior to filing for a contested divorce. By the way, I'm almost 99.9% sure this guy is not in the United States. He's in a different country, so obviously things may be a little bit different there. I was recorded. I even told her it was. I was recording. I even told her it was. Still, the soon-to-be ex-wife didn't disappoint. She started out with an absurd statement about how there are two types of you-know-whats. That is roughly the same size, whether it's erect or not. And the other type that shrinks and grows based on whether it is erect or not. He says, what the actual F? Who opens a call with her husband like that? She's gone nuts. By the way, I know what the deal is with her. I'm not going to reveal it yet. And you guys have read on, you know what's going on. But trust me, something's going on with her, and you'll see. Then she mused about how she was looking forward to the end of the current restrictions so she can go out and investigate this more in person. I simply responded that I wasn't interested in her hobbies, that I was only interested in discussing our divorce. She got openly hostile when I didn't take the bait and get angry like she wanted. It'd be a big mistake if he started yelling and fighting and carrying on. I'm sure it was very hard for the guy, but he had to keep cool. Let her freak out and raise holy hell. It only makes her look bad. At one point, she told me she was going to the bathroom and muted herself. Then I watched her as she conferred with her friends about what she could do with me. She cursed me for nothing more than being a man several times. Throughout the call, I still had the strange feeling that that she was seeing this as some form of game, that she was in control, that I had no other option than to put up and shut up and give in to anything she wants. No. I say no. We made zero progress on our actual divorce, so I conclude that, okay, fine, a contested divorce it is then. Well, you can see from the get-go they weren't going to make any progress, and it's not going to be amicable. By the way, you gave me chlamydia, and unlike you, I haven't been sleeping with anyone else, so you better get yourself to the clinic. She just frowned at me like, yeah, right, I don't believe you. I seriously have no idea at all what is going on with her, and at this point, I no longer care. I sent the recording to the lawyer, and she was shocked to say the least. Everyone thinks my wife is insane at this point. Maybe she is. Since I own her phone and the subscription, I can actually use my chat logs as well in court. Turns out it's fully legal to monitor my own device as much as I want. Nice. After our call, there was a frantic discussion between the harpies, but I could finally put it all aside. I no longer care what they talk about. The lawyer is confident we will win this unless there is something that I haven't told them about. Guys, here's a little tip. If you are working with an attorney for anything, be an open book. Tell them everything they need to know, because the last thing you need is anything coming up in the last minute and they can't be prepared for. Just a little tip. I know lots and lots of lawyers. Trust me on that. You got to tell them everything, no matter how embarrassing or shocking or whatever it happens to be, let them know so they can be prepared for this and help you. You are paying them, after all, for their expertise and representation. Just a quick tip. Anyway, so there we are. It still hurts, but I can treat it as a phantom pain at this point. I've abandoned feeling sorry for myself, and I'm going for the jugular. No prisoners. I need to protect myself and my kids. Yes, stay strong for the kids, okay? Take it day by day, like I said, hour by hour, but stay strong for the kids and win this. I am good. My kids will be fine. I'll make sure they get therapy as much as they want. My soon-to-be ex-wife will soon be a distant memory, and I will start building a better life for now. And he says, by the way, I found out today that she knew about the chlamydia and got treatment but didn't tell me. She was joking and laughing with her friends about it. Okay, on to part 2. He says, firstly, thank you everyone for all the feedback. Apart from the hacking adverts discussed as comments or PMs, I blocked those. I got a lot of feedback like I'm strong or winning in some way or somehow getting out on top. Rereading my posts, I can see that my anger towards the situation filters through, and I could seem defiant and sure of myself. Truth is, I am not. I wish this had never happened. I wish my family was still intact and that I had a long, lazy, comfortable life ahead of me with my wife as the kids grow and start their own lives. That'd be great. Unfortunately, that is not the hand life dealt you. But this guy, just like plenty of other guys before him, he has to go through this, fight for himself, fight for the kids, and he can move on and learn a very valuable lesson about women, marriage, the court system, all that. But this guy, everybody can turn their lives around. Even the most shit can happen to you, you can turn it around, but you got to want to, okay? And you got to seek help when you need it. A lot of guys have so much pride, they don't ask for help. Believe me, we all need help at some point. Just want to point that out. He says, no one is the winner here. My wife has gone off the rails and the entire train is burning in the ditch. I don't know what is wrong with her. She refused to see a medical professional for possible mental illness, and she's acting like nothing is wrong. She still shows no remorse or regret. She acts like I am unreasonable for just not accepting whatever she wants, and she has hardly even talked to the kids since D-Day. Well, I feel bad for the kids in the sense that that's their mom, obviously. But on the other hand, she's so wacko now, it's a good thing that she's not with them because she's going to really screw them up. And I think he said in the first story I did yesterday, the kids are like 8 and 10 years old. Extremely impressionable. Her behavior has left me no choice, and by now there is no way back. I wish so much of this wasn't necessary. I can never trust her ever again, and I cry myself to sleep every night from my own loss and the fact that my children will now grow up in a broken home. Kids can be tough. You'll be okay. Trust me. Just got to get through this. You'll be okay. The kids will be okay. But you're going to be on overtime being, in a sense, playing the roles of mom and the dad. But you got a good family from what you told me about the parents and all. You can get through this. And you got your buddies. Your bros will help you. It also breaks my heart that my children in reality no longer have a functional relationship with their mother. Well, she has gone off the deep end and they don't need her in her life. They don't need her in their lives. Question: how do you answer this question from your child? Why doesn't mommy want to see me anymore? Doesn't she love me? How the heck do you answer that? If anyone knows, please let me know because I sure as hell don't. Every day I wake up and tell myself that my heart is already smashed into so many broken pieces that I can't possibly break anymore. Only be proven wrong all day and every day. This is normal, dude. You will get through it. My wife still doesn't know that I can monitor her communications, or she doesn't care. She is 100% convinced that I will never leave her and that my reaction to her behavior is totally unjustified. She's out of her damn mind. She keeps talking badly to her friends about me, our marriage, and our children. I don't understand why she hates us so much. We haven't done any of the things she accuses of us doing to her friends. As I mentioned before, my lawyer won a temporary restraining order against her. There was a hearing yesterday morning, and since there was no new direct threats, it wasn't extended. My lawyer suggested using the fact that she knowingly infected me as a threat to try to get her to agree to undisputed divorce. I like this lawyer. I wish we could separate in a reasonable process. I hate the fact that I have to see her as an enemy and always assume the worst possible outcome. You have to see her as the enemy. You have to expect the worst possible outcome. In situations like this, you have to, the old saying, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. That's how I live my life. Okay, and it served me well. I learned that from my mother, and she was taught that by, I think, my grandmother. Okay, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. So in this situation, he has to be prepared for every possible crazy shit she can throw at him, every possible negative outcome, and that way he's not, caught blindsided. If she wanted to leave me, I'd be able to live with that. But why force me into this extremely adversarial process? Drama, drama, drama. That's why. Why does she do her best to hurt the people that used to love her as much as possible in the process? What possible gains can she have from this? I would appreciate any insight on this. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Because you're coming from a place from logic and reason, and she comes from a place from psychotic emotion. Believe me, I've known plenty of divorce stories of people I've known throughout my life, and it was crazy. Some of the stuff that the wives, like the second the wives decided that's it, it's over with, they went completely batshit crazy. And the stuff they would pull, it was unbelievable. And the guys are scratching their head saying, who is this person? How could I have been married to her all this long? She didn't seem like this type of person. And of course, then getting the kids involved and all that. It's nuts. If I go to court, I'll probably have to pay her a lump sum for the equity in our house, etc. I'll probably not be liable for alimony, and since she doesn't show any interest in the kids, I'm hopeful I will win custody of them if it goes to court. Anyway, my lawyer suggested we try to get her agreement for an amicable divorce. I agreed. We will meet with my soon-to-be ex and a representative hopefully this week. The ex-husband that was defrauded by the lying harpy spends New Year's Eve with me and the kids. The injustice of the justice system against fathers is just incredible. Now I have no delusions of receiving a fair process if we go to court. His ex lied her head off, and the court just took it as fact. No proof whatsoever. Do you hear that, guys? Again, if you're thinking about getting married now in today's world, be aware of that, the court system. Heard plenty of horrible stories. He has hardly seen his children since. He has been forced to pay unreasonable amounts of alimony and child support, and it's pretty much broken him. He has been contemplating ending things permanently. With the new evidence he gets from me, he has renewed hope. We both talked to my lawyer, and she suggests he sits on the evidence until the meeting with my wife and her counsel. If he takes action now, it will show our hand that we have access to all their communications. My lawyer's goal is to divorce me and my wife as soon as possible and as smoothly as possible. Well, let's hope it goes that way, but we shall see. Right now, I just hope I can get away from her. If she decides to fight, it can drag on for a very, very long time. Dude, you have no idea. It's stressing me out. I just need to get free. I will post an update if I get a meeting or if we go directly to a disputed process in court. And now for update number 3. And this will be the final update that I will do today. This is going to get into some of the things going on in the court and the settlements and all that stuff. And watch how this goes. Update number 3. Sadly, the bizarre situation continues. Imagine that. The meeting with my lawyer and my soon-to-be ex yesterday afternoon. She showed up 30 minutes late. She didn't bring a lawyer, and she claims she doesn't have or need one. Instead, she brought one of her new harpy friends. Oh, this is a dream come true. She didn't bring a lawyer? I'm sure his lawyer was probably just sitting there, just rubbing her hands together, foaming at the mouth, chomping at the bit, just excited for how this was going to go down. He says, my lawyer had given me very strict instructions how to behave. I was not to react to anything they said in a negative way. If they addressed me, I was to respond in a non-confrontational manner or positively if I could. Yeah, he's got to be calm as can be. If my lawyer put if my lawyer put one or both of her hands flat on the table, I need to keep my mouth completely shut. So they showed up late. No masks, of course. This is COVID. The harpy tries to insult me and wind me up in a way that any way she can think of. My soon-to-be ex does the same. My lawyer is trying to get the discussion going on the subject at hand, our divorce, but they're just joking around. I don't know how they're allowing her friend in the room if she's not an attorney. But okay. They laughed at their own insults towards me a lot. It was really cringe to watch. It is clear my wife still believes this is all a ruse, that there is no way I can divorce her. In her mind, only she can divorce me, and only if she wants to. If she does, she will get everything. I just sat there thinking, what the F is going on here? Yeah. I didn't actually say anything of substance. I only responded to a few times, and it was along the lines of, yes, you're probably right, or I really don't know. Finally, they ran a bit out of steam. My lawyer got the word and started putting forth the proposed settlement for amicable divorce. One of the first things she said was that I was willing to be generous for a quick and peaceful resolution, that I would pay her a large lump sum of $60,000 for the equity in the house, investments, etc. My lawyer didn't even finish this sentence before my soon-to-be ex-wife got all excited together with her harpy friend. Nudged on by the horrific-looking harpy next to her, the soon-to-be ex-wife wanted to know where to sign. Just like that, first offer, and she's foaming at the mouth over this? Okay. My lawyer asked several times if my soon-to-be ex didn't want to go over the rest of the agreement first. But no, the soon-to-be ex-wife wanted to sign right away. She started talking about when she could expect to receive the money, and that they needed to get to the pub. She is very eager to get this cash, and I have to wonder... Notice there's no mention about anything else about the agreement. There's no mention about the kids. Who gets the kids? Or anything else like alimony and all that. She's just focused on getting that $60,000 or $60,000, whatever it is, whatever currency, as soon as possible. Why could she want that so quickly? Well, you all will all find out eventually. So my lawyer calls someone in, whispers something to them, and there was a flurry of activity. An older woman asked for our identity documents, and we were asked to sign our copies. When we were done, the old lady stamped it, and I later found out that she was a notary. My lawyer almost standing on the palm of her hand at this point, thanking my soon-to-be ex and the harpy, and told them we were done. They left, and my wife didn't even bring her copy of the agreement with her. This just keeps stranger and stranger. She left it on the table. My lawyer looked at her, fly hands at me. She obviously didn't want me to say anything while they were in the building. When we could see them crossing the parking lot, my lawyer looked at me and said, "Congratulations." Then she spoke at length about how this was the strangest session she'd ever had for negotiating a divorce. I bet. She told me she would send my soon-to-be ex copy to her after we do a hearing in front of the judge, or if she gets a lawyer to ask for it. Until then, it's forgotten in my lawyer's drawer. She looks like on the surface So it looks like on the surface, I will get through this divorce a lot easier than I first thought. The soon-to-be ex-wife can still hire a legal representation and dispute this. My lawyer told me she will try to call in every possible favor she could to get me through this, get me a hearing with the judge as soon as possible. Yes, the sooner the better. If the ex-wife is not caring, do this as fast as possible, if you can. It will probably be a video call. I also hired a private investigator after the advice I got here, and he got photos of my wife making out with two different guys at two different bars yesterday, and she went to a hotel with one of them. What a piece of you-know-what. So I have lots of evidence piled up if I need it. I just hope it's enough if it comes to that. My wife signed to give me full custody, only a one-time payment. No spousal support, no nothing, just $60,000, and I am free. That'd be great if he gets this. Now I just got to find the money. I got a plan, and Bob offered to front me the entire amount if need be. Damn, these are good loyal friends of his. That's what I tell you guys, your friends are gold. I still don't feel like this is real. I fully expect her to pull, "Here's my aggressive lawyer, and I'm accusing you of doing something to the kids," and domestic you-know-what out of her hat. The lawyer told me to keep a very low profile, pay for everything that I normally pay for, and don't rock the boat in any way at all. Listen to your lawyer. Low profile, don't stir up anything, just keep it cool. Let her do her work, speed things up hopefully to get you the hearing and all that and get this thing settled. The advice is, don't talk to anyone we both know. Just sit still and wait. Don't respond to anything. Basically, zero initiative until the hearing. So now all I need to do is be patient and hope for the best. So guys, that is it for today, because it's already been almost half an hour here I've been telling this story. Parts 1, 2, and 3. Tomorrow I will do 4, 5, and 6. And that's when you're going to find out what's really going on behind the scenes with the wife, why she acts absolutely so freaking crazy and all that, okay? And let me tell you, it gets crazy. So, but anyway, guys, I thought you'd enjoy that. I know a lot of you guys requested it, so here you go. So be sure to comment down below, let me know what you think about this, and be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.